What's up, guys? Ryan with Jet Patrol back. Today we're taking a look at the InArt Aragorn. Pretty excited about this, and if you have this on order, I think you're going to be happy with it. At least I think so. I guess we'll find out here soon enough. I not only have one Aragorn, this is the Rooted Hair Deluxe, everything that comes with Aragorn. I actually have, well, I have the sculpted version as well, so we can compare head sculpts. So that'd be super fun. The Deluxe or premium version they got here is going to come with a couple extra pieces of some bloody hands and whatnot. Outside of that, really the main difference is going to be the head sculpt. So we'll take a look at those in due time. I think we're going to start with the rooted one because honestly, that's where I want to get to. So let's get you out of the way and let's see what we got going on. So just like the Gandalf packaging, we've got this nice fabric material, this nice gray material with the ring, I guess, if you will, around the side. This kind of rotates around. It's kind of nice gold embossment going in here on the fabric material. And then it says Lord of the Rings on the side, and Aragorn over here. 1/6 collectible figure, premium edition. I'm not going to turn it upside. Well, I guess I could. I got all the parts inside. But you can see like the Aragorn's kind of embossed there on the side. Kind of dig that. And on the back, you've got this as well. Now, there was a green slip cover on both of these. I have taken that off because it's just full of fingerprints, and I don't think that's very interesting anyways. But once you get this opened up, it does have a little magnet flap. Open this guy up, and there you go. So inside the packaging, you're going to have your movie's ticket stub. We've seen this before with the other figures, Joker, all the other ones. This one looks fantastic. Photo of the actual figure, and you've got your nice little ticket stub style deal right there. Instructions, which we're definitely going to need. It tells you everything you want about it, all the hands, where everything goes. Definitely need that. There's a lot of accessories going on here, and we're going to have to figure out where everything goes. There's your little instructions on the movable eyes. So we got that going on. Our nice welcome packet. In here will be a letter from InArt, and we're not going to mess with that. We've seen that a bunch of times. And then this, which is, I can't read that. Now, on both the versions of this, this cloak, I guess if you will, this cloak was packaged separately. And I don't believe this was included when they initially announced the figure to be produced. I don't think this was part of that. So they decided to add this in. So that's super cool. So it's actually separate from the packaging. It was in a nice little envelope on both sets. So we'll take a look at that in just a little bit, but noted, that's pretty cool little piece. Now, I have taken the liberty of gotten all the little plastic bits off and saved us a little bit of time. Bloodied hands here, we'll get to that in a little bit, but the head sculpt, the rooted Futurama jar, if you will, it's right here. So let's go ahead and get that out of here. And nice little twist. Let's see if we can do this without too much fuss. There we go, got you off. And here is our Aragorn sculpt. Now, this is obviously the rooted version. It does have the movable eyes. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But what are you guys' thoughts? What are you thinking right here? I'm thinking it looks pretty good. I've seen some people say, well, I like the sculpted version better than the rooted version. I think there's pros and cons to both. But if you're going for this line, and if you got the Gandalf, obviously, with the rooted hair, would the sculpted hair one look good to it, next to it? I don't know. I think this is probably going to be my preference, but, that's just me. But there is the hair, nice wool implanted hair here all the way around, and it looks pretty good. Now, there is a different adapter style, I guess, if you will, for this than we've seen on certainly the Joker figure. I think that one's a little different. But this one actually just has, if I pop this off, just a normal 6 scale style gap peg, I guess, if you will. It's not that twist and turn locking mechanism we've seen on previous figures. We don't have that, which means you do need this guy, which is included. So this is actually a neck peg into the body. It comes packaged just like this, and then on here. So in here, you can see there is a split in the head where you can pull back the hair, and then you can get to the movable eyes. That's not a big deal for me. I don't care too much about that. So we'll see, like moving the rooted hair out of the way to get to the eyes. For me, I get why it is that way for realism's sake. Just one of those things I'm not quite 100% comfortable with yet. But maybe we'll get there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes posing. But this thing is quite good looking. So when we get it out of the flat lighting here into some proper poses, we'll get a little better look at the head sculpt. But let's go ahead and pop this guy on. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pop the neck piece on first. And then I'll show you guys, just pop that on, easy, easy. And then this just slides right on here, and we'll try to make sure none of the hair is actually in the way. Don't want to have any of that. You don't have to worry about that with the rooted version because the head comes pre-installed. But there we go. So, right off the bat, there it is. What do you guys think? To me, I think it looks pretty stinking good. There's some little bit of styling. I think especially when you see the sculpted one out here, you'll see the hair here is a little poofy on the sides. We're going to have to tame that down a little bit to make it look a little more lifelike. I don't think he had the big, the hair going way out crazy. But that's just one of those things with rooted hair. Tailoring, 10 out of 10. I mean, absolute 10 out of 10. This is ridiculous tailoring from InArt, which we've seen time and time again. No issues with that whatsoever. We got this nice jacket, I guess, if you will, inner lining. Looks like it's like olive green kind of color, like a very desaturated green. And then you've got all this nice texture going on down the side. The stitch work is crazy. I mean, there's layer upon layer of material, but it doesn't feel bulky. It doesn't feel like it's scaled properly. I'll put it that way. These leather gauntlets he's got going on here, this nice detail. That is absolutely beautiful with the silver inlay. I mean, look at this. Look at the texture of the buckles. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So you get one, obviously, on both sides. Absolutely beautiful. Going around the back, you can see, again, stitch work going down the back here and down the shoulders. I mean, again, the tailoring is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So no wires going on in any of this stuff. You see it's just kind of draping, which is fine. No issues with that, but that's just how that is in case somebody's wondering. And then down here, if we go down to, get this out of the way, to the boots, very flexible. Like this material right here, absolutely flexible, can do whatever you want it to do. And just look at even the stitching, the laces, everything, absolutely beautiful. And there's even weathering on the bottom of the shoe. Like that's crazy. Now there is some strange textures going on here as far as they're not flat. Maybe you can see that. They're not flat, so I'm not sure how that's going to interfere with posing when it comes to the magnetic base, which yes, we got another magnetic base, and how that's going to work and how we're going to have that going on like for different poses. We'll see, because I'm seeing like there's a little bit of a, like the shoes is rounded right here. You can kind of see it. It's not flat, it's kind of rounded. So I'm curious, like I said, how that's actually going to play out when it comes time to get him standing up. But I mean, just first impressions, it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to put him to the side for just a second. Like I said earlier, you do have some bonus accessories with the premium package, being bloodied up hands, and the blood is legit. Like these hands are crazy, bloodied up knuckles, bruised, even on the inside. I mean, these things are crazy good. The ring texture is beautiful. The gloved hand also got blood like on top of the glove and blood up on the palm. Like these two accessories for the deluxe or premium edition, that's pretty cool. In addition to obviously the rooted hair. So what do we got? We got some bow hands. Obviously he's going to have his bow and arrows and quivers and all that kind of stuff. So we got some hands for that. That looks quite good. And then we've got a couple sword wielding hands, if you will. So that's pretty cool. Dig that. All right. And then let's see what we got here. Another sword wielding hand or weapon holding hand over here. Maybe for the dagger. We'll go for that. And then another one for looks probably the bow or a dagger. Well, we'll figure out exactly what to use it for. My first glance, I'm looking at these two and I'm going, those are awful similar. So I wonder if there's a difference that I'm just not seeing, or if there's supposed to be a right and a left. I'm not 100% sure, but I will consult the instructions and then we'll figure that out in just a little bit. So underneath this tray, if we can get you out of here. Oh, get out of here. Okay. We've got a whole lot of accessories. Now, the first accessory I want to kind of show you guys, because I don't think I'm going to mess with this too much, is the broken sword. This thing is quite good. It is die cast. It is awesome, and there's all these little shards. For me, it's a cool accessory piece, but not something I necessarily will probably end up using for display. But I will pop this out. It is die cast, and does come in this nice little foam package, so you don't have to worry about getting stabbed by it. But it is straight up sharp. Like you would not want to accidentally use that in a manner that is unsafe. So that's pretty stinking cool. Kind of dig that. That goes right here. We've got his pipe. Again, beautiful, nice little burnt ends on the end if you want. It looks great. Looks like there's actual ash going on in the middle of it. So that's pretty nice. I like that. We've got a quiver. Beautiful paint job. Now, all this stuff here, this is leather. This is not pleather. It's not rubber material. This is straight up leather. It is beautifully done. Yeah, I mean, this is 10 out of 10. Looking good. So I dig that. Now we do have obviously his non-broken sword. Now this is a different sword altogether. So check that out. Different sword altogether. And I'm sure you Lord of the Rings experts will be able to tell me the name of each sword. This one clearly is different. It's got a different hilt. So I don't remember the name of the sword. So forgive me on that one. But this one is die cast as well. Beautiful. And then we've got the sheath where it goes in here. Again, proper die cast, proper sharp. This thing is gorgeous as well. It says green with some bronze yellow going on here with some leather attachments. I dig that very much. That's very nice. So we'll get you down there. Then we do have this dagger, and I'm sure there's a proper name for this one as well. It is beautiful. It is also dice cast. You got some elven writing going on there, some script. Nice all the way around. And then, of course, we got our sheath for this thing, which is more of a dark blue, black color with some, I guess we'll call it brass or bronze. We got two different bow. We got one bow that's wrapped up as is, should be stowed away. This is plastic. This is not wood. So just throw that out there. It's the only plastic bit I've found so far. That's there. And then we've got one that's strung and ready for action with a little bit of elastic. And it's got some proper, I mean, you can see it's got proper elasticity going on there. I dig that as well. That looks nice. And then we've got 4 arrows, if I can grab these out of here. These are also plastic. And we got 4 different arrows here. So we can throw these in the quiver. We can obviously use these on the bow for posing. There is a split on the bottom of this guy for actually inserting the string. These are plastic. They're very lightweight, but they are painted very nicely. This super tiny piece right here is also in there, along with a necklace he can put around him. This thing is pretty cool. Just got this little belt clip going on for that. And it's been a minute since I've seen the film, but I'm pretty sure the Liv Tyler character is the one that gave him this particular necklace. At least that's how I remember it. It is quite nicely done and is super tiny, and guaranteed I'll probably end up losing that somewhere. So I'm going to put it right back there. On the very bottom tray, we've had our display base, which is very nicely done. It's got some green grass attachments to it. It's like there's some texture in there. All these little granite pieces that are cracked. And we've got Aragorn put on the front. Nice texture all the way around. And once again, we've got the sliding magnet base. If we can pop that guy out of there. And we can maneuver these guys around however we want. Now, my issue in the past has not been with the magnets. It's been with the actual feet on the figure. We'll see if that's going to be an issue again, but nicely done. I think this is fine. The one for Gandalf worked fine, but that's very, very nice as well. So we got that guy, and then we've got a belt. Now, we had to add the belt and sword and all that attachment to Gandalf, which I did not enjoy. So once again, we're having to build our figure together, and we have a real leather belt that we're going to have to attach, and then attach swords and sheaths and all that kind of stuff too. Really don't want to have to do that, but they've decided that we need to. We've got a rolled up blanket-ish mat if you want to. That's very nice. Again, leather here. Weathering going throughout. Texture, that's very nice. I mean, the colors on this, for obviously screen accurate, all meld well together. Another attachment piece we're going to add to the back. This is pretty sure it's supposed to be this guy. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's this guy rolled up. And then we've got, that's how that works. So that was pretty nice. And then we've got this. Open this guy up. Got a nice another cloak with, check out this detail. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very lightweight. I mean, very, very, very lightweight. That's everything that comes in the packaging. I'm going to look and see if, let's see where that was. If I've got 2 of the same hand or if I'm supposed to, or if I'm not. I don't know. But we're going to attach all this stuff to the figure. pose this guy up. Before jumping too far ahead, I wanted to break out the sculpted hair head sculpt and the rooted hair one. It can give you guys a quick comparison. The sculpts are exactly the same. The question is, which hairstyling do you like? That's really where this comes down to. You can see on the sculpted one, it's more tailored. I say tailored. It's more close to the head, right? And I actually need to press that head down just a little bit further. Neck's a little long on there for a second. One of those things you got to watch out for, which is not bad for posing, but you got to watch out for that. But the rooted hair clearly has the more realistic look. There's no denying that. You cannot get around that. The question is, do you like the styling or not? And this is something I'm at the futz with. It's just one of those things. I like the way this hair is kind of covering up some of the face. That's creating some shadows. I like that. It's definitely darker. There's more shades of coloration on the rooted hair versus the sculpted. But the sculpted hair one is done really, really well. So I wouldn't be mad at either. What do you guys think? So I want to show you guys the two sculpts side by side. I tried to do the same pose. It's pretty difficult to do the exact same thing with this thing, but I think we got pretty close. So we got obviously the rooted hair on the left and the sculpted hair on the right. And I did use some water and a makeup brush to tame down the hair on the rooted sculpt. And I think it turned out pretty good. I don't claim to be like, the hairdresser. I don't claim to be that, but there they are side by side. Sculpt wise, the sculpt is clearly the same. There's no question about that. The darker hair on the sculpted, I kind of like the darker hair than the lighter hair. I think I like that. And even though the jawline looks a little different, it's exactly the same. So there's that. So I think with some proper styling, I think somebody out there who's a little better at that than me probably could make this thing look pretty awesome. But I'm pretty happy with the rooted one for the time being. As far as posing goes, we've got one here. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. So I was able to get the shoulders up. And this is, if you've ever tried to do this with a 6-scale figure, to actually do this pose with just any 6-scale figure, it is incredibly difficult. Very difficult to get that front shoulder all the way up and work that butterfly joint to get it way back, way behind him, and then have both hands on a sword like that. It is extremely difficult, and that took me a good minute to actually try and accomplish and try to make it look somewhat realistic. But I'm pretty happy the way it turned out. Getting the the knee or the leg up on the dynamic base, having to move the magnets around, that was a thing definitely have to deal with. But I was pretty pleased with this. Now, this was not going to be easy to do with the sculpted hair because the sculpted hair would push down and would not able, you wouldn't be able to get the angle of the head tilt on it without the hair poking into the jacket. So that would be difficult. So that's where the rooted hair comes as an advantage over the sculpted, is if you want to do things like this. Like, I don't see you pulling it. In fact, I tried. It ain't going to happen. But the fact that I was able to get that front shoulder up and both hands on the sword like this, I was pretty freaking impressed. All right, guys, we're going to change this up. Got a little handheld video for you. We've got our rooted hair premium Aragorn posed up. I did change up the hands a little bit. So we've got the sword in the hand, which it can hold the weight. That's a heavy sword. And then I've got the bow in the other hand right there. But here is just some more look at the sculpt. I have taken some time to go to cosmetology school and learn how to style hair via YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and MySpace and all those things. So but there it is. So you can see that. Tailoring on it, again, no question about that. Fantastic. I had to move the magnets around in the base to get it to where I wanted to go. You can focus. But I think, here you go. Focus on the face. Thank you. I think this thing's pretty stellar. I have no questions or complaints about the sculpt. I know some people do, and that's fine. My biggest complaint is the changing out the hands. The wrist pegs are, for lack of a better word, just bad. They're a complete pain. I've had to heat up every hand I've changed on it. When you're dealing with a figure like this, that's not something you want to do, especially when you've got a heavy implement like this die-cast sword going on. You really don't want to deal with that, and it's just unfortunate. So posing-wise, I have no complaints. The body's good as any other 6-scale body we've seen. I think it's solid. Tailoring's brilliant. Base with the magnets, I think they can completely get rid of the magnets. But the switching out the hands, if you got this coming, be prepared to be frustrated. It's just, yeah, just is what it is. Over the years, I've done a lot of poses and never been afraid that a figure was actually going to injure me. That ends today. This one actually could if I don't pay attention. So we've got Aragorn with the bow posed up. Extremely difficult. That string is tight. It is tight. And I've got the arrow on there. We grabbed that out of the quiver, and we've got him looking down. Now, I tried to do a pose where he had this arm right here, the front arm, the left arm was extended like it should be. However, the string on the bow, I was afraid I was going to break it, so I did not. So I am cheating it a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of bend on the front elbow, which, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. So if you go to pose yours, you're going to have same difficulty as I got. But I do have the arrow in there, and I do have the, you know, it looks decent. But however, there's some serious tension on that string, and if it lets go, that arrow will 100% go flying. And so I'm going to try not to shoot my eye out. So there's that. But here's our pose we got going on here. I think it looks pretty decent. Got one little leg up here on the base. Plenty of range of motion to ankles. No issues with that. Flat on that one. So all's good. I did have to maneuver the magnets around. Got the sword back in the sheath. And yeah, it's looking, I think it looks pretty good. You guys tell me. Oh, focus. I think it looks pretty good. But it is a little bit of a challenge. Not gonna lie. So this is not one I would leave like this, but I wanted to see, is it possible? And I guess it is, but I'm not 100% in favor of the execution of it, simply because I don't want to actually break, I don't want to actually break the bow. Like, that would suck. So, yeah. There you go. All right, so I decided to put on the additional cloak that was included with the figure that they did not advertise, so I did get it on there. There is a wire on the hood. There is a wire running down the length of the cloak as well. And it looks pretty good. It's not too terrible to pose up. I think it looks pretty good, honestly. If you just want like a heroic pose, I mean, I'm not, unless you had the sculpted hair, I don't know how many people would actually hide the rooted hair under a hood, but I figured for video, why not? I do have the bloodied up hands on there, so you can see those. They look pretty good. I mean, they're extremely bloody on both the gloved hand and the ungloved hand. They're very bloody. Sculpt-wise, with the cloak on the hood, I think it looks pretty good as well. And I dig it. Now, it does have a typical hood problem. I'm going to rotate it, and you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. With hoods, they have this, like, extra, like, they put the seam on the top of it, and so then you get this, if you're not careful, you get this whole, you get that thing going on there, and you may not want that, just throwing that out there. Depending on how you want your figure posed. But I think the likeness is on money. I think InArt absolutely knocked it out of the park. You know, is it as good as the prototype that they showed us a while back? Well, that's up for you to decide. I think it looks pretty stinking good in person. And of the two, I would go with the rooted, especially if you have Gandalf, because I think the rooted hair would look better with the rooted hair Gandalf. Now, let me put this other guy up here while we're here. Let me put him up here. Hopefully I can get him to where he doesn't fall over. So the sculpted version looks great. No issues with that whatsoever. I do prefer the rooted. For one, the hair on the sculpted version, since it is sculpted, I have a feeling that it could damage the jacket, the cloak there over time. If you're posing it, it definitely gets in the way because it's a rigid structure versus the rooted hair structure there. So it is a thing. It's just little things like that, posing wise, kind of gets in the way sometimes. I think both of these are great. Whichever one you got, I think you're gonna be happy with. And yeah, I'm happy to have these in for review. So I do have an announcement coming, for an InArt announcement, so stay tuned for that. It's a pretty big one. I'll probably have a live stream this week to announce it. So yeah, stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And let me know in the comment section, which one do you like? Do you prefer the rooted? Are you happy with the sculpted? Which one would you choose? Do they both suck? Are they both great? What is your answer? And as always, click what you like. See you next time.